Now, Module 1 will cover the first pillar of process analytics, which is define phase. This define phase starts with defining problems, customers, and processes, and its final product is Project Charter. Let's look at it one by one. Now, defining define phase. What is define phase? Let us define what define means here. Think about what Albert Einstein said here. If I were given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes defining the problem and 1 minute resolving it. We want to spend much time to solve or rectify a problem, but there is a danger of not understanding what the real problem is. The thing that a company is trying to solve can be just a tip of an iceberg. Sluggish sales might not be just a marketing problem, but a manufacturing or even product design problem. It is critical for us to understand the problem deeply. So, Albert Einstein thought that he would spend much time to understand the problem deeply. And it is often the case that the true understanding of a problem presents the solution itself. So, wise people spend much time in this define phase to understand the problem and surrounding circumstances. Are you solving the right problem? You may want to think about that by carefully going over this define phase. Define is the first phase of process analytics. In this phase, we endeavor to define the problem first, and then the customer, and then the process. As discussed in the previous slide, defining the problem correctly leads us to the right direction for the finding solution. To do so, we need to understand who our customers are. Ultimately, a business exists to serve customers. The customer is defined as the individuals or groups who receive the goods or services of the process. Customers can be external to the organization or an internal component of the organization, such as the employees. During the define phase, the team seeks to better understand customers and their requirements through various means, such as interviews or surveys or other data. The next component is defining process. Process map is the tool to define the process in the business. It can be a high-level map such as order fulfillment process, or it can be focused on a specific step as order receiving process itself. Once a process map is drawn, we analyze which process is value adding and which is not. This step requires us to measure and calculate various metrics such as cycle time, cost, and quality defects. Then we can draw value stream map, which shows where the bottlenecks are and problems are, and also value adding things are. The outcome of this define phase is a project charter, which contains the problem, team members, timeline, customers and process scope. And that's going to be the define phase of this module. Let us think about how to define problems then. When dealing with a problem statement, we are encouraged to ask why 5 times. That's called 5 why method. 5 why method is strongly recommended because it is simply asking why 5 times, and yet it enables us to get to the bottom of a problem. For example, we may face a problem of late deliveries. Then you can ask, why has the client raised the issue of late deliveries? The answer could be there wasn't one instant of late delivery. then why did that happen? You want to ask, right? Why was there a delay in this instance? The answer could be, let's say, the creatives weren't approved by the creative head as per schedule. Then you can ask why the third time. Why were the creatives not approved within the stipulated period? The answer could be the creative head was on sick leave for 2 days. Then you can also ask why the fourth time. Why were the creative head's responsibilities not delegated to a substitute while he was gone or she was gone on sick leave? Then you may search for an answer and you find that a substitute creative head hasn't been appointed in the organization yet. Then you may want to ask the why in fifth time, why hasn't a substitute creative head been appointed? Then the answer could be we hadn't predicted the situation and clients are becoming more particular about their deadlines. So in that case, after asking five whys, you understand that the problem lies in not having a substitute creative head appointed yet. So the solution it might be in this case is designating a substitute for the creative head and also for some other critical profiles to avoid delays, right? That could be a solution. So on the surface, why did the delivery was delayed, right? That was a question. And after asking five whys, on the surface, you could have asked, oh yeah, simply the person was not there. That's why it happened. Um, and that was your answer. But now, you found that after asking five whys, you can say, oh yeah, I think we have problem with the substitute system, and we need to designate those people in case of absence of those important people, right? That could be your answer. So when you are defining problems, I strongly encourage you to ask why five times so that you can get to the root cause of that problem. Also, a good problem statement follows SMART principles, which stand for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Here, look at an example here. Inventory levels are too high and must be reduced. This statement is vague and unspecified. We need to follow SMART principles and make it more specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. Let us read an improved version of this problem statement. Here we go. Inventory levels at the West Metro inventory storage process in Scottsdale are consuming space, taking up asset management time, and creating cash flow issues. Inventory levels are averaging 31.2 days with a high of 45 days. These levels have exceeded the target of 25 days 95% of the time since January 2019. $250,000 could be saved per year if inventories were at the targeted level. So this improved problem statement is specific because the place is specified as Scottsdale, not any other places. And it also talks about what needs to be done. Space, time, and accuracy of inventory level have to increase. And it is also measurable in that the statement used the days and inventory levels and cost. We can measure these metrics later and use that to compare against this problem statement and also use that for how much improvement you have made. It is attainable because it talks about 95% of accuracy, which will result in $250,000 of savings. When it comes to relevancy, the statement is relevant because it is focused on inventory levels. Lastly, this problem statement is time-bound since the period spans 6 months from January 2021 to June 2021. A good problem statement follows SMART principles and make it very specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound.